Hey, welcome to our sixth episode of the Recovery Project. Our mission is clearly to share and inspire people with the stories. And behind every person, there is a story. And we've been fascinated by the stories that we've had previously and what we'll have today. So I'm going to throw to you, Mal, because you've got a guest on today. And we've also had some feedback, which has been extraordinary, really. And that's why we get inspired to do more of this. So would you like to share?
Yeah, totally. It's been, really exciting having all the stories coming in and the gratitude from people about how much they're enjoying it. So please do add your own comments to our clips. But here's one from last week. It says, I just had to touch base to let you know how much I'm enjoying the Recovery Project. So inspiring. It's a really good reminder how amazing the body is, how powerful the stress response can be, and also how quickly it can be interrupted and stopped. The Recovery Project has inspired me to work on a few personality traits I'd like to blitz. Thanks so much for this. My love and best wishes on your fascinating, expanding journey.
I love it.
So,
I love that.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, it is. It inspires me every time I hear a story, and it inspires me every time we get to understand beneath the people and the challenges and the adversity they go through. So I am super excited to hear the next guest.
Yes. So welcome, Jonathan.
Hello. Hey,
Jonathan.
how you doing?
Yeah, great to have you here, and thanks for fitting us in when you're away on a business trip in a hotel. So
Yeah,
thank you very much. So Jonathan is here with us having had ankylosing spondylitis. That's a big mouthful, isn't it?
Yes.
And he had it for 20 years. It's been a massive journey, hundreds of thousands of dollars of treatment, loads of struggles, but an amazing outcome and a wonderful, inspiring story. So I'm super excited to hear more about it, Jonathan.
Well, where do I start?
How bad was it?
Excruciating. It's like having glass in your joints, not being able to move some days, missing sleep, maybe sleeping 2 hours a night, 2-3 hours a night. The stress going through it really messes with your head. And so you get desperate. You get really desperate, and I've basically tried nearly everything you can. Diet modification, acupuncture, chiropractor, physiotherapy, all the alternative treatments, all the normal treatments, biologics, things like that, which have quite bad side effects.
2 hours sleep, and you were saying when you're in a state, obviously in the current state of frustration, anger, a lack of sleep.
Depression. Like? No, I went through the whole. I was incredibly depressed, suicidal. You get to a point where you tried everything and you just don't know. What I went through, I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy.
Totally.
And it was just, and the help you get from the medical system is just terrible. They try, but there's nothing they can really do, and the side effects of the drugs they give you are probably worse than the disease itself. It's like trying to remove a mosquito from your head with a sledgehammer. It's not really worth it. It was just the side effects. They put me on nerve drugs and I was sleeping 15 hours a day, which I found out were antipsychotic drugs, massive doses of steroids. It just really messed with my whole body and my head, and wasn't in a good space at the time.
I hear you also tried stem cell treatment. Can you tell us about?
I tried stem cell treatment in Auckland, but I then found out it was the wrong type of stem cell treatment, which wasn't specifically designed for my condition. It did help, but it didn't fix the problem entirely. So.
And then didn't it slide backwards a bit again after that?
It did, yes.
It helped for a while, but it didn't last because it didn't address the root cause.
And so it was really just a waste of money.
If treatment is only addressing symptoms,
yes,
then you're going to have to always keep doing more treatment. And
Correct.
So, you know, to be able to say, well, why has this person developed this condition? And,
Yes.
you know, I certainly, you know, well before I had any training in it, I was observing that so many autoimmune clients that I was seeing had this huge burden of guilt. And I was like, why? Why do all these people have this thing in common? But when you think about it, you know, guilt is you attacking you. What is an
Yes.
autoimmune disorder? It is your immune system attacking you. So there was
Yes.
this sort of very clear mirror, and it's like, oh, this is starting to make sense. It did amuse me that I'd sort of get a phone call from you about once every 2 years, and you're like, oh, you know, tell me about this course. And I'm like, oh, Jonathan, hi again.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'd answer your questions, which were usually pretty similar questions each 2 years. But there was a total shift. Just suddenly you were like, you couldn't get on that course fast enough. So
Correct,
what do you think happened after 9 years of following me and phoning me periodically that you just went, I need it now? What shifted for you?
Well, I'd actually, I just finished a 3-month treatment of acupuncture. And, you know, I'd go there 3 days a week to the acupuncturist. And after 3 months, the acupuncturist said, look, there's nothing more I can do for you. And I was like, wow, okay. And she said, oh, look, I've done everything, I've tried everything, and nothing's working. I don't know what is wrong with you, you know, why you're not responding. And she said, I've had other people and they respond, but you're not. And I don't know why. And so I thought, I was getting desperate, and they say life changes out of inspiration or desperation. And, you know, my life, I was really at the desperation point.
Yeah.
And that's really what pushed me across. And I've been watching you for a period of time and seen what you've done and the results. And so I was quite blown away by it, yeah. And just following you, you gave your time to the earthquake people in Christchurch, and I was quite blown away by that, your generosity. And because so few people are really generous from their heart. And you thought, well, okay, there must be something in this. In August 2020, I did your course, and it probably took about, I got the initial course and then I started doing the switch. It took about 2 months to get all the benefits of the course. I initially got something up front, and then I did what was called clicking, when you get completely what you're going through. And so I didn't have an immediate healing, but it was sort of gradual, and it took about six weeks. And then for me, I noticed just my movement, be able to sleep better, things that I've never experienced in over 20 years. It was emotional release, what it was all connected to, going back to early childhood.
Can you tell us a little more about that? I mean, obviously, you know, not things you don't want to share, but at an emotional level, what shifted for you with all this?
Well, I went through some trauma when I was a kid, and I hung on to that and felt I wasn't being supported. And I really wasn't aware that my body was carrying this trauma, and then it manifested into ankylosing spondylitis, as they name it. And I didn't really know what was going on. And once I was able to get to the root core of the problem and release it and forgive, and with forgiveness and moving forward, everything else just dropped away.
That's powerful.
I applaud you for one, dealing with that head on, accepting it, releasing it, reframing the past trauma, and moving forward. So thanks for sharing that, mate. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it was really like what Mel did is she put a crack in the dam, and then over time the dam just broke away, and there was just a massive release, and I felt free. There was a massive weight off my shoulders. I was carrying this invisible baggage that was with me, and I was not aware. Maybe other people could see it, but I couldn't.
And I
And
mean, you didn't come to the course to fix those things. You know, you
no, I
didn't
didn't.
come here on your application
No,
form. I want to deal with forgiveness and this thing that happened.
no,
You know, it's I want to fix my pain. That's what people
yeah, yeah.
notice is my body hurts so much it feels like shards of glass. You
You
know,
just don't
that's
know.
what you're coming to fix. But beneath all that, that's the, you
Mm,
know, where the real pain lies, is that emotional pain.
yeah, yeah,
And that seemed to clear, you know, really fast and really well with you. You know, that dam broke up pretty easily.
I realised who I was being, um,
Mm,
and I realised I was sort of still that 7-year-old kid, and
mm, yeah.
yeah, it was you know, it was a very emotional event at the time,
Yeah.
and still have a little bit of emotion around it, but it was now I have more gratitude around it, and the understanding,
Nice.
and I have more of a looking back and just having sympathy for that kid, you know. Mm,
Nice. That's cool. I really like that you can go from this feeling of betrayal, hurt, anger,
mm,
you know, all that thing, to gratitude, compassion,
mm.
and, you know, a whole lot of peace with something. That's really beautiful. I'm sure there'll be lots of people who are listening to that and going, oh yeah, there's something in my life that I could shift in this way. And, you know, the biggest reward of forgiveness comes to yourself, not
It
to
is,
whoever you
yeah,
forgive.
yeah, that's right.
Because it
It's a gift to yourself.
frees. Yeah,
Yeah,
it really is.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what you help me understand, you know. And
Mm,
you know, I'm a big believer in self development, and I've read and listened to hundreds of audiobooks, and you know, none of them have given me the technology you gave me,
mm,
or the information. They skirted around it or may have talked about it, but I didn't really know how to apply it.
mm.
And then you put me through the system of um, a practical system of how to do it, and
Yeah.
that system led to me being able to process everything.
Mm,
You know,
yeah.
and it was just massive.
I think a lot of people think, but what that person did is unforgivable. You know, I hear that often. And, you know, I think my sense is forgiveness doesn't mean that you condone what someone did. You know,
Exactly.
it might be that you'll never agree with whatever it is that happened, but you can just be at the point where you're just so peaceful about it. Something wonderful has come about in your life in terms of growth and learning from it, from an experience. You understand with some compassion why someone did what they did, and it's like,
Yeah,
whatever, I just have no emotional attachment to it anymore. I don't care that even was in my life. And so forgiveness, I think for some people it feels insurmountable because that
but,
behavior is unforgivable. But if they
yeah,
step back from, I never have to agree with the behavior, I just need to get to the point where I just don't even care anymore. You know, it's that's my understanding of forgiveness. Is that what it's like for you, Jonathan?
for me it was putting down the baggage that I was carrying, and I didn't realize I was carrying it, and so I was
Mm,
carrying a massive burden. And when I put it down, and you know, because you always think that when you forgive that other person, it's that you're saying your behavior is okay, and I
mm,
accept what you did. And people always think, well, if I forgive them, then they'll have another opportunity to do it again to me,
mm,
and that's making it okay. Where it's not about that at all.
mm,
It's accepting what happened and putting the stuff down so you don't carry it. And
mm,
if they carry it, that's up to them or whatever happened, because everyone has to atone for what they've done, come hell or high water, no matter what. My belief.
mm.
And so just putting that down and moving forward, I was able to just be more at center and more at peace. The course is almost so good; it's almost too good to be true. You know, it's so good that you don't believe it's that easy. Yeah, you know, and for me, it was almost like magic. And yeah, I can't really put it in words, but only through the experience of what I've been through. And my business has grown dramatically since I did the course. My level of communication has improved. Um, my openness has improved. Realizing how important forgiveness is.
Mm,
All these aspects. It just wasn't. It didn't just affect one aspect. probably affected about 20 different aspects of my life. And so there was improvement in relationships with people around me. And there was a lot of personal growth that happened after that event. For me,
you
it
got
was
quite a lot of physical improvements fast. I remember you started being able to like
we'd go for
sit
walks
easier,
and-
walk easier, bend over, touch the floor.
Yeah, I can do all that now. That was really, really good. And lifting
And
things
that happened
like that.
fast.
It did. Yeah. Like a lot more energy, feeling lighter and easier and better. And yeah, it's one of those things. I can talk about it, but unless you do it yourself, you just don't know. It's amazing. That's really what I can
skeptics online, the comments that are negative are only ever people who have never done it. Who seem to know so much about it, but it's not the people that have done it who have the bigger, those negative opinions.
Isn't it a crazy world? And hopefully, I guess it is a world we live in built around skepticism, pessimism, because of the fear factor of what we're hearing a lot of around. I remember going into a Tony Robbins life course about 5 years ago, and they ended up having 12,000 people walk over hot coals, all based around belief, releasing a lot of stuff, but also building a belief from a nervous system change to get them so amped up energy-wise that they could able to walk across it. And yet there's been a lot of people that still deny that Tony Robbins doesn't do what his methodology is wrong.
Yeah.
And he's proven from a Harvard University study just recently, he's been doing it for 40 years. So, you know what, I would say that if it works for you, and if your belief is that you want to change and you made a decision, you will change. You will change. You'll find a way. You run patterns of thoughts, patterns of language, patterns of physiology. They're all patterns. And unfortunately, we've got at times disrupt it before it becomes the norm. And that's what you do well, Mel.
I think for me today, what I took from that was the real root cause stuff, that forgiveness and betrayal being at the root of everything for you, that you had no idea was at the root of it, and that you were able to release, and then you just sit back and let your body do the healing. And that's the thing, bodies are amazing healers. They're designed to heal. You get a cut on your hand, it heals all by itself. Other bigger things can heal too when we get out of the way and create a space for healing, which is releasing all these emotions. So yeah, well done to you on such an amazing result, Jonathan, and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We will be back next week with more inspiring stories for you all. Steve Gurney coming up pretty soon, who's the 9 times coast to coast winner who nearly died in a hospital in Asia. So we've got some exciting stories coming up for you in the next few weeks. So do keep tuning in and share your comments and like our channel to get more people to be inspired that recovery is possible.